Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Race number 10 at Gulfstream Park is the 2-mile H. Allen Jerkens Stakes on the turf. $100,000 is the purse. You can play the race with a DRF Bets account. Sign up at bets.drf.com. It's quick and easy, probably quicker than it'll take for them to run the 2-mile H. Allen Jerkens. Plus, you get a 300% deposit match. Let's meet this field, 16 furlongs. Obviously a demanding distance. We have a 9-5 morning line favorite in the number 3, Solio, who just comes into this race in excellent form for Michael Maker. Good effort on dirt last time out. Really liked the way this horse won at Keeneland 2-back. I realized he was even money and he probably had to fall down on paper to lose that race. But this horse was probably 4-5 path on the backstretch all the way around the second turn into the stretch, and he won comfortably.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I don't think he beat the strongest field in the world, but considering the trip that he got, he certainly ran well in that race. I don't think he's one of the horses in here that you worry about distance with. We'll see how the betting all shakes out. Will he be 9-5 in this race?
I don't think so.
I don't know if he's going to be that short. He'll be one of the horses taking money in here. I will say that he is never the kind of horse I'm looking to take a short price on. I just don't trust this horse. I think for the most part in his career, he's been an underachiever. But there are a lot of ways to look at him and feel like he's just the horse to beat.
And he has a good record at Gulfstream Park. The number 11 is Nessie, another one getting class relief. This horse has raced in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 graded stakes races preceding Saturday's H. Allen Jerkens, and it took him a trip all the way out to Southern California to just face a woeful field in the Grade 3 San Juan Capistrano. He went the 14 furlongs that day. He got it done. He's probably just been overmatched in his last few. He fits very well at this level, but he's, to me, the kind of horse I've never trusted a short price. He's always the interesting alternative for me. If he goes off at something like 5-2 or 3-1, I might be a little hesitant.
I agree with that. I feel sort of the same way about him that I do about Solio. I mean, he's just one of the horses. It took me a while to figure out that he's just not that reliable. I lost plenty of money on him early on. I sort of stay away from him now. I do think they're doing the right thing, you know, sort of taking a step back in competition. Maybe the 2 miles would be okay for him. I don't know, Dan. I just don't want to bet him at a short price.
I think the one Galope Americano is going to run well here for Todd Pletcher and John Velasquez. 12-1 on the morning line. This horse is a Group 1 winner at 1.5 miles in his native Brazil, and off a long layoff, he caught a very salty optional claimer at Belmont. I don't think he was embarrassed that day, and he just disliked the dirt last time.
Yeah, I guess I don't care about the dirt race too much, even though he had handled dirt in Brazil. His first start over here on turf, he ran okay in that race. The trip wasn't perfect for him. He just got outfinished at the end, maybe got a little tired. I could go either way on this horse. If he's going to really be what the morning line thinks he's going to be, I could probably use him in this race because I do think there's a chance that he fits well in this race. But if he takes money in here, I could just as easily look at him and think, you know what, Pletcher, this feels like he's not that good. He's going to try and stretch him out.
Cullum Road might be yet another in a long line of Michael Maker-trained horses that improve off the claim with distance and maturity and turf. Cullum Road was claimed for 62.5 back in May. Michael Maker's gotten him a stakes placing at Kentucky Downs on September the 12th, and he enters this race off a rock-solid win against weaker non-winners of one other than at 1 1/8. The way this horse's action is, to me, I think distance will be great.
Yeah, I don't mind the distance with this horse either, especially because Maker's training. He seems to know which ones he wants to stretch at. I think that'll be okay for Cullum Road. I'm a big fan of this horse, Dan. He got an absolute perfect trip when he won last time, but as you say, he was just going on through the stretch like he could have just went around again. It was going to be no problem for him. I've always been a fan. He's the kind of horse in a race like this I want to be using.
Ektabar, the number 9, adds blinkers for Ray Handel. Second start off the claim, moving dirt to turf. We take a look at this formulator fact. It hasn't been successful for Handel. Past 5 years, 3-year-olds and older moving from dirt to turf, 0 for 27. But this horse should be a price in this race. He really has been an underachiever for when Shadwell had him. We'll see if Ray will be able to turn him around. And stretching out off a mile race to a 2-mile race and adding blinkers, you can understand why Timeform US has him on the lead. I won't be as brave as Timeform US in projecting the pace of this race, and I certainly won't say it'll be fast.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if this pace was indeed fast. I guess that stuff's all relative when you're going 2 miles. What constitutes a fast pace? But I'd be surprised if they're blazing up there. Maybe this horse goes to the front. Maybe it works out for him. I think this is a really tough spot for him. I will say his race 2 back on that yielding turf at Belmont, he ran pretty well in that race. Way out of it, super fast, right on the lead in there, a really in-form super fast too. This horse did okay to be second in that.
Unbridled Holiday, the 13, was second on the pace projector, and that's probably more of the style that he likes to employ. Pace presser, 2 starts back when getting nosed out at Gulfstream West. You draw a line through the recent dirt start. Pat Biancone's horses have been running over the past 90 days or so. Second off a short layoff for Unbridled Holiday, but I do have major class concerns.
Yeah, it just feels like he's facing some horses who are probably just going to wind up being too good for him. Distance can be the great equalizer in a race like this, but why is he supposed to like it any better than some of the others are?
How about Winter Union, who's just stepped up his game, first since being switched to turf by Michael Matz, and second since being stretched way out in distance. A 12-furlong maiden winner at Saratoga over the summer, has run quite well in both starts against non-winners of one other than at Belmont, and did so both times on yielding ground. He's a versatile horse, and you can argue has the most upside of anyone in this field.
Agree with all that stuff. There's a lot to like about this horse, and he feels like one who probably will be a price in this race. He's a horse I could use somewhere.
Red Knight, the number 7's a New York bred I've always liked for trainer Bill Mott. I liked when he came off the layoff at Saratoga in the summer. Thought that was a really nice effort as the favorite. They stepped him up in the Ashley T. Cole, and I don't know, he ran fine. I don't think he really had a lot of trouble, but I was looking forward to seeing what we were going to get in the Mohawk, and they just ran away from him that day.
Yeah.
And then last time out on the dirt, I'll throw it out. I wonder if Red Knight really is going to want the 2 miles. I understand why Bill Mott's taking a shot here.
Right.
I don't think he's completely out of it, but I prefer him underneath in single race exotics.
I feel the same way about him. He's actually a pretty cool horse who can do a lot of different things, and he does feel like the kind of horse who just shows up and runs every time. The distance could be okay. I mean, this horse has done a lot of things well already in his career, so it feels like you could throw anything at him and he'll handle it, but he's the kind of horse I would want to use underneath as well.
The 6 Archer Road is a really nice, versatile animal. He won a 1.5 mile stakes race 3 starts back, then cut back to a mile and won that race. Last time out, he was in against some good Florida breds like Galleon Mast and Class and Cash. Stretching out to the 2 miles, I wouldn't be surprised if he is right up and on or close to the pace.
Yeah, I think he's going to be up close too. Listen, he did face some good Florida breds last time, but he's shown he can beat those horses in the past. This horse is pretty good. It feels like the 1.5 miles might really work against him, but he's a cool horse.
Seeking Albert finished 4th in the Breeders' Stakes back in 2017, and then 4th in the Grade 1 Northern Dancer, and it looked like his 4-year-old campaign was going to be strong. It hasn't been very strong. 0 for 8, no second place finishes, the Buyer's in decline, and now he's a 2 for 20 horse.
Yeah, as it turns out, that Northern Dancer in 2017 was the best race he's ever run. It hasn't gotten any better from there.
Let's talk about the number 10, Without Remorse. This is a horse that might be a little bit closer to pace, stretching out from a mile to this 2-mile distance. Last time out, though, against Florida-bred non-winners of 1, I thought he had every chance with an in-out trip, and he just was even in the stretch.
Yeah, I don't see how he could even get a piece of this race.
The 12 is Lascaux. He's another lightly raced horse. I guess he's got a bit of upside. He won on dirt last time out, going 1.25 miles. I really won't hold the Kentucky Downs race against him 2 starts back, but just a plethora of layoff lines has me concerned about his overall soundness going into a 2-mile race. Rusty Arnold does a great job.
Rusty Arnold does do a great job, but he can get horses to stretch out effectively. You like that about him, but this horse has to really improve in this spot.
Porter Street was claimed for $8,000 last time out off a win in a mile in a 16th race. This is a gigantic step up in class, a gigantic step up in distance. This is what's known as taking a shot.
Yeah, this is what's known as taking a shot. Again, the 2-mile distance can be a great equalizer, but I just don't see how this horse can be competitive in here.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the H. Allen Jerkens Stakes. Mike, you're going to go with another Canadian invader. That's the number 8, Camp Creek, and we know for a fact distance isn't going to be a problem for this one.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of my thinking with this horse, just that the distance isn't supposed to work against him at all. He actually looked really good last time. I know he was in for the price in there. The race didn't come back that fast. 82 buyer won't get it done against horses like this. But you could just tell all the way around the track in there that he was fine with the distance. He stayed on through the stretch. The horse that wound up finishing second to him really took a shot at him, and they just ran away from the rest of that field. This horse was really good, and what I like more than anything about him, Dan, is there was a time, and you have to go back to when he was a 3-year-old. It was 2 years ago, but it really looked like this horse could be he could really be something. He won his turf debut just galloping down a field in the stretch, came right back to win the Breeders at 1.5 miles, and it looked like he had a real future. It didn't pan out for him. A lot of layoff lines, only 4 starts last year, only 3 starts so far this year, but he might be back in form right now. He looked good winning that race last time.
As you mentioned, Canadian Classic winner in 2016, distance no issue, and I would caution everyone about rating those buyers at 2.25 miles. You know the pace isn't going to be fast. It's going to be hard to get a fig. This horse has the back class, and it seems that as he's gotten older, he's gotten a little bit more tactical, tactically inclined. He was a one-run closer, as you mentioned, in his good days. Solio to me is very, very logical. As Mike mentions, maybe you wouldn't want to take too short a price. I don't think he'll be 9-5 in here. I think maybe 5-2 or 3-1, which should be short for some. I think I would take the 5-2 to 3 based on his overall consistency, form, and the fact that the great Mike Maker is training him, and he seems to know how to handle these 2-mile horses. Mike's going 8-2, 3, and 11. I'm going with the Maker Exacta, 3-2, 1, and 9 in the $100,000 H. Allen Jerkens Stakes on a stakes-laden Saturday card at Gulfstream. Bet them all with a DRF Bets account and the 300% deposit match that goes along with it. Easy sign up at bets.drf.com. The H. Allen Jerkens has an approximate post time of 4:41 Eastern. Best of luck.